With COVID-19 cases in Texas, one of the highest in the nation, parents are concerned about putting their kids back in school next month, and many teachers are afraid that they could get sick. Many school districts in the state have decided to go with online learning for the first few weeks of school. Here to talk about this is Travis County GOP Chairman Matt Mackowiak and Ovidia Molina, president of the Texas State Teachers Association. Thank you both for being here. Matt Mackowiak, I wanted to start with you. The state wants to move to in-person classes this fall, maybe as early as September. That puts students in classrooms without a vaccine for the virus. Do you think this is safe?
Well, if you look at the statistics, the death rate among anyone under 14 years of age is the lowest of any age group. It's incredibly low. I think in New Jersey, which I think was the second or third worst state in terms of overall coronavirus cases, they had, I think, one death of anyone under 18 years of age when the coronavirus was at its worst, when they had tens of thousands of deaths. Look, no one wants to put anyone in danger. The question is exactly what is the danger? Is it any more dangerous for a child to go into a school than it is to go into a Walmart, or go into a grocery store, or to go anywhere, to even go to a small daycare? If a school is not an essential business, I don't think anything is. And I think parents around the country are saying we got to get back to normal. We got to get our kids in school so we can go back to work. If parents don't want to put their kids in school, they don't have to. But closing an entire school down makes it impossible for parents who want to send their kids to school to be able to do so.
Okay, Ovidia Molina, if kids are required to go back to school, why are state and school officials still operating with online meetings and phone calls to do their business instead of doing them in person?
That is a very good question. Thank you for having the conversation. We don't feel that it's safe for students to return to school until people are not having virtual conversations about what is happening to our students and our staff that service them. The reality is that when we're talking about 7,000 new cases yesterday or passing them today, it's not the time to talk about returning back to in-person school buildings. We want to talk about virtual learning because that is the safest thing to do. We want our students and our staff to be safe. We don't want to have one death, not even one, of a student or a staff person. We also are talking about the community. If the child gets sick and takes it home to the family, then somebody there could possibly get sick and die. We don't want that possibility. We also don't want that to happen to any of our educators' family members as well.
Okay.
And so the reality is that virtual learning is the only way to go at this time.
Okay. Matt Mackowiak, what about that? The point that, yeah, kids are not having a lot of trouble with this virus, but they may bring it to family members and grandma and grandpa.
Well, unless you want to go back to a full-scale shutdown where no one can leave the house for any reason, you cannot eliminate all risk. The question is, what is the risk? And that's where parents ought to be able to make the choice. You know, we had this outrageous decision from our health director here in Austin say that not only could public schools not reopen before September 7th, but he went even beyond that to say religious schools and private schools could not reopen before September 7th, which he has no authority to do, and which the Texas Attorney General reiterated he had no authority to do on religious schools. So again, the question is look, if we were living under a shelter-at-home order where everyone had to stay home, might make perfect sense to shut the schools down. We're not. People can go to Walmart, they can go to Home Depot, they can go to a grocery store, they can go to a daycare center.
Okay. Ovidia, final question. What would it take for school administrators and teachers to feel comfortable to have in-person classes?
It would take the coronavirus cases going way down. Cases on the uptake are not working for talking about opening of schools. We actually have a standards for safe students in schools and communities for returning to school at tsda.org on our website. And it's actually a 5-page document because the initial conversation is talking about opening the school buildings, but that's just the beginning. The parents have to be in communication with the district. The employees have to be in communication with the district. Everybody has to be sitting down to talk about what it's going to take for us to go back to school and then what follows that. Because once we get to school, I've taught middle school for over 10 years, and I know that it takes a lot to make sure that everybody's safe on a regular basis when there's not a pandemic going on.